The importance of response to intervention and instruction, created by Mackenzie Householder for the class EDU 546 Research for Reading. What is RTI? RTI is General Education Initiative written into the Special Education Law, IDEA, in 2004. Its purpose is to offer educators a framework in which to structure early intervention strategies. At its core, RTI aims to support at-risk students by removing barriers to learn. What does RTI involve? Well, we can look at a few different things. The RTI process involves gathering and examining assessment data. Educators use the results to judge the effectiveness of the interventions used with students and to determine appropriate new instructional plans. The key features of RTI. It is primarily a general education initiative designed to address the needs of struggling learners early in their educational experience. It is based on a problem-solving model that uses data to inform decision-making. RTI interventions are systematically applied and derived from research-based practices. It is highly dependent on progress monitoring and collection of data from multiple sources. RTI intervention plans are designed, implemented, and monitored by multidisciplinary teams of professionals. It can replace the IW discrepancy model for determining the presence of a learning disability. When we're looking at RTI, the three-tier model of RTI is as follows. Tier 1. The provision of general screening and group interventions that usually represent the core instructional program. If this instruction is adequately differentiated, 80 to 90% of the students will respond and achieve established benchmarks. Assessments occur 3 to 4 times per year. So this is when you have the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year assessments. Tier 2. If students do not make adequate progress in Tier 1, more intensive services and targeted interventions, usually in small groups, are provided in addition to instruction in the general curriculum. Progress is monitored more closely, at least bi-weekly, and the research-based interventions could last approximately 6 to 10 weeks. In Tier 2, you will find a lot of times, I know we have used throughout our district, that we have small group instruction for 20 to 30 minutes per day, and that can range anywhere from 4 to 5 days depending on how intensive the services actually at that point are needed. So then we move to Tier 3. For students who do not adequately respond to the targeted interventions in Tier 2, eligibility for special education services under IDEA 2004 would be considered. Additional testing may be warranted, and students would receive individualized intensive interventions targeted to the skill that's deficient. So a lot of times in Tier 3, I know in our school, we use our intervention specialists to help out the classroom teacher. At this point, they take more of a one-on-one approach with the Tier 3, and it's definitely a targeted skill. They also continue to classroom or progress monitor and provide that to the classroom teacher. So we're looking at 5 essential elements. The first one, under RTI framework, schools must embrace a comprehensive universal screening process that is administered to all students. Examples, DIBELS, AIMSWIB, Foresight, and STAR. School-wide screenings are repeated during the year, and the results are used to guide instructional decisions. I know at our school we use the DIBELS Next program and the STAR testing. We actually look at DIBELS closer than we do the STAR testing, just for the fact that a teacher actually is the one administering the beginning, middle, and end of the year test. STAR is a computer-based test, and a lot of times you can't necessarily monitor the areas that the students are completely not getting. That is because they have a chance to guess, things like that. So we definitely focus more on DIBELS with our RTI. 5 essential elements. For the second one, we have classroom teachers represent the first line of early intervention. They are expected to implement high-quality, evidence-based instruction matched to a student's learning needs as identified through the screening process and classroom assessments. I know a lot of times, especially in our school, we have what we call TBT, BLT, and DLT. That is teacher-based teams, building level teams, and district level teams. We actually, in our teacher-based teams, look at the data that we collect each week, and we collaborate and discuss what needs to be done to help with this student. We also look at the instruction that we are giving to our students, and we adjust that accordingly based on the student's needs. So the element number 3, RTI requires the progress of all students, especially those at risk, to be monitored closely in the regular classroom. The data flowing from curriculum-based measures enables the teacher to assess an individual student's response to the strategies or interventions being used. Instruction is adjusted accordingly to maximize student achievement. In the DIBELS program, this is called a QPS. There are several different areas of phonics skills that the student is asked to read, and at that point you can tell if that student needs additional help in digraphs or CVC or CVCE, ARC-controlled vowels, anything in those areas. It helps you to collect the data on that. So looking at element 4, even in classrooms following as RTI model, some students may fail to thrive. If a learner consistently demonstrates the need for additional support, the classroom teacher can share the results of intervention efforts and work collaboratively with colleagues to explore other instructional options. So at this time, we take our information to what we call an IAT team, and that basically looks at the student and the data, and we figure out what can be done prior to testing to see if we have exhausted all options. And then element number 5, if the collaborative team and classroom teacher determine the student requires support in addition to the prescriptive instruction already provided, supplemental services are arranged. IDEA 2004 allows at-risk students to receive supplemental support without a disability level. This support is coordinated with other school-based services and personnel, such as Title I, specialist coaches, etc. So now there's 2 essentials when dealing with RTI. Creating conditions within school to facilitate regular collaboration through and thoughtful scheduling and planning. Ongoing staff development through conferences, seminars, on-site training, and online learning so teachers are equipped with the tools they need. I know personally within our school district, this is done on a regular basis. We have professional development days each month, and we get together in our TBT teams for the first half hour, 45 minutes to discuss any students at risk. We also look at our core curriculum, make sure that it's aligned with the core standards, but also differentiated and modified for student needs. We also take the data that is collected through the DIBELS, and we can look at the students that are in our tier groups, and we also collect what we call data mapping. That is essential to see how the student is progressing. So RTI in the classroom has definitely enhanced student learning and has also allowed for more students to actually be successful without the IEPs. I know a lot of times there have been students with IEP, which is the individual educational plan, and they have not necessarily needed them. They just needed differentiated in RTI. So this is definitely something that I do believe has been essential and successful for schools, and I look forward to continue using it. Thank you.